So let's see what the internet anarchist has to add to this discussion.
Not too long ago, the YouTuber In Praise of Shadows was a relatively successful media analyst with a decent following. He delved into the meanings.
No, Ace, I watched the Shoe on Head video before I started streaming. So, cause it was like at the very beginning of streaming. So I didn't do a react to it. So, but I've watched it. I watched it all for it.
Behind horror movies, shows, and artworks, all while subtly promoting his left-leaning political views. But then, out of nowhere, he posted an over 3-hour-long video slandering and exposing Wendigoon, Shoe on Head, Brandon Buckingham, and a handful of other prominent YouTubers.
Yeah, that's right.
This video
Went
bombed
after
harder
Shoe on
than
Head as
Twitter
well.
rebranding to X. It shattered the reputation In Praise of Shadows spent 5 years building overnight, and made him the laughingstock of the internet. It's got so bad that when you search for his channel on YouTube, the first video you see is about how disastrously bad this last one video was.
In reality, you're a delusional, hateful hypocrite, and this is the worst video I've ever seen.
Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be looking into the destructive downfall of In Praise of Shadows, a YouTuber who thought it would be a good idea to go after some of the most beloved creators on the platform. With arguments so poorly constructed and illogical, it almost appears to be a parody on why they are the ultimate evil. On the 25th of May 2024, Zane, the host of In Praise of Shadows, uploaded a now deleted video titled Bad Conservative Horror Movies, a video that seemed no different to his previous content at a first glance, but started off on an extremely bizarre topic that had little to do with his title or thumbnail. He opened the video with a lengthy rant about a terrible horror convention he attended a couple months prior, labeling it as quote redneck and quote unprofessional.
Over the weekend, I traveled to Concord, North Carolina to attend this year's Mad Monster Party, which was far and away the most redneck and unprofessional convention that I had ever been to in my life.
This introduction alone hinted at the political bias that would taint the rest of the arguments in his video. And after complaining about small details like the distance to the parking lot and material used for the weekend pass, he then presents a theory of his that's a stretch.
Wait, what? He had to walk a little bit, and he didn't like how the material that was used for the... Oh, guys, this is more than I was seeing from Chew on Head, so this is new information for me. Is this one of those everyone gets a trophy assholes? I bet he's an everyone gets a trophy asshole.
At best and utterly absurd at worst.
I think there's actually not one, but two distinct horror communities. One that is more concerned with writing and thinking about how our own experiences and world are reflected through art. And then you have another that is more conservative and traditionally capital A American, and is based more in basic consumerism and viewing movies strictly as entertainment and nothing else.
So, according to
Okay, newsflash, it's not only people that identify as quote-unquote conservative that view horror movies as just entertainment. That's not a conservative thing, you twat.
To him, horror fans with right-leaning political views are incapable of appreciating the subtext and artistry behind horror movies and shows, basically calling them intellectually inferior. Now, you might think that after a nearly 25-minute rant about the conservative leanings of the convention's organizers, Zane would finally get to the point of the video. But shocker, he doesn't. Instead, he switches gears to talk about how rough his life has been due to the criticism he received on his video analyzing the Hills Have Eyes movie.
Tysell, he thinks conservatives should be killed. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but honestly, I'm not. Like I've heard other people on that side of things utter something similar. I can't say I'm surprised, unfortunately. And Lurker, yes, technically I'm American. I was born and raised in America, but I am in Canada. So I'm kind of Americanian. Yeah, the French Jackins. Oh, hang on a second. My kitty's making noise. Give me 2 seconds. The kitty's making some noise. Sorry about that. My cat got herself tangled up in something. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's continue.
Franchise.
In the time since making that video, Very often it is the case that when conservatives want to criticize me, they will go back to that and use it as a weapon.
He then spends another 25 minutes or so reading mean tweets that criticize his views on the beloved movie franchise and complaining about receiving these tweets. During this, he also states this:
by twisting my words in very bad faith to make it look like I said something that I obviously did not intend. If you
Also, can I just say, this guy has got the most pretentious sounding voice I've ever heard. Every word he speaks is nose in the air, utterly pretentious, I'm better than you. Like, between his voice and the way he's dressed right now, he almost kind of wants to get punched in the face. Hello, professional commoner. Welcome to the chat. You may now bow before me. No, I'm kidding. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're having fun.
You had watched the video, usually in an attempt to make me either look crazy or cartoonish or racist.
Which is extremely ironic considering the nonsensical statements he makes about other creators later in the video. For context, he's mostly talking about tweets like these that label him as racist due to what he said in his analysis video. However, what makes Zane's self-victimization completely baseless is that regardless of what he thinks, the racism allegations are not
Yes, Kenzio, I am. I am indeed.
Entirely untrue. So, he not only fails to acknowledge that what he said was wrong, but also labels all criticism of his words as something right-leaning conservatives say to, quote, attack him. Here, he also talks at length about how he's barely making ends meet with the money he's earning from YouTube, which is an unusual thing to discuss in a video about horror movies. However, Brandon Buckingham offers a pretty good...
Yes, I hate that. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Kenzio. And thanks. Yeah, this is one thing that it's why what they were just talking about, where he's saying like he's not making any money on YouTube. It's why, when I first did get affiliate, one of the first things I said is don't feel obligated to get subscriptions or spend money on bits, and why I haven't run ads, why I don't even have a dono button, nothing like that, because I right now I don't want to rely on this just to earn a living. And like I don't want to be one of those Twitch streamers like begging for money on stream. I don't want to be one of those people. Which is why I actually have a regular job. And I do this. Is it nice to make money doing this? Sure. But I do Twitch for fun. And I don't want to be coming out. I don't want to put myself into a position where I'm coming on stream going, guys, I don't know how I'm gonna be making my rent. Please give me money. No, I don't want to do that. I mean, would it be nice for me to be able to do this full time? Hell yeah. I would love to be able to do this as my full-time job, stretch out my Twitch streams to like 6 or 8 hours. Hell yeah, I'd love to do it. Is it going to be possible? Maybe. I don't know. I've only just started. I've been doing this for maybe a month and a half. But I can tell you, I do not like the idea of going on stream and begging for money. That's it. So yeah, it's a little off topic given the stream, or given the video, but I just felt I needed to put that up.
Explanation in his reaction video of what Zane is really trying to get at.
There was a month last year where I only made $500 in ad revenue.
Yeah, Tysel, I don't disagree with it, and my viewpoint is, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, if you're having fun when you're here, and you want to support me with donations or bits, or actually not even donations, I don't even have that up, but like with subscriptions and bits, of course, I'm not going to say no. I greatly appreciate it, but I don't want to have to, right now, I don't like the idea of depending on you guys who are just here for fun. You guys are here to have fun and enjoy yourself. And that's what I want. And, anytime somebody does a sub or does bits, I really appreciate it. It's wonderful. But I also don't like putting any kind of pressure like that on people that come to see me when the whole thing is you should be coming here to have fun, not to I appreciate the support your streamer kind of mentality, of course, but I don't want anybody who comes to my stream to think that's the reason why you're coming to the stream. You have to come to the stream to quote unquote support the streamer by giving money. That's not why I want people to come to the stream. As a byproduct, I'm fine. I'm fine with it as a byproduct if you're okay with it and you can afford it. I don't want anybody who can't afford it to put any money in my direction. Don't do that. Your money should go to you first and foremost. And before I forget, Nismo-chan, thank you for following. Hope you're enjoying yourself. I'm kind of going into a serious rant here. But yeah, that's my spiel. So I'll try and get that kind of topic here.
I can't live off that.
What does he think he will accomplish by saying stuff like this? He thinks he's just the sweetest little birthday boy and he's not deserving of any criticism whatsoever. He thinks he deserves success and money and praise, but instead, all he's getting is hate and he's broke.
Woe, bitties be upon ye.
Yes, thank you. Crap, you did that because I just said something, didn't you? Thank you. Thank you, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I've got the WoW on a, oh wait, never mind. Let's get back to the video before I embarrass myself.
Up until this point though, Zane's video has been nothing but ramblings about barely connected topics like bad horror conventions, the online criticism he's received, and his financial situation.
I've heard about that
However,
potato.
an hour and 20 minutes into the video, he said something really strange.
Trust me when I say that conservatives are perfectly capable, just like anyone else, of being funny and learning how to produce art, but in practice is dangerous, and allows the slow infiltration of conservative beliefs into places that they should not be allowed.
This made it clear that the video isn't about horror or movies. Instead, it's about rejecting the conservative belief system and everything relating to it. Understanding this bit would also help make sense of what the entire controversy is about. Zane's weird statements regarding Wendigoon and other YouTubers. But before we get into the specifics of what he said, it's important to note that the issue people have with Zane's video isn't that he said something mean about their favorite YouTubers. Instead, the majority of the backlash stems from the fact that Zane makes some outlandish claims about the lives and true intentions of these YouTubers. And as you'll see, he does not present any solid evidence or logical explanation to back up his words. Over 2 hours and 40 minutes into the video, Zane shifts his focus from criticism.
I mean, here's the thing, I don't watch Wendigoon, so I have no basis for comparison, but everything I've heard is Wendigoon is a perfectly decent guy. And why he's going after him? No fucking clue. I don't have a fucking clue. Well, yeah, and that's what we see from a lot of people like him that go so severely left, is all they do is use buzzwords without probably knowing what they actually mean.
Criticizing conservatives in general to targeting one specific YouTuber, Wendigoon. He starts his rambling with some serious allegations.
That, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern, friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years. And that, like many people who talk about being Christians as much as he does, has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism.
Then he goes on to state that he does not respect Wendigoon's opinions because he's rich and young.
I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire.
Dismissing Wendigoon's media analysis skills due to his financial
For
background.
fuck's sake.
So let's get this straight. He complains about his own money problems and then bashes a YouTuber for being young and financially stable. This not only exposes the true intentions behind his so-called
Yeah, sounds like maybe someone's a little bit jealous. He's pissed off because Wendigoon's able to do something he can't. That's what this is. He's pissed off because Wendigoon is actually successful and he's struggling and has to beg for money. Yeah. He's a butthurt little boy.
Criticism, but also reveals a glaring hypocrisy. Also, by this logic, if the In Praise of Shadows channel becomes successful and makes Zane rich, will his own critiques and opinions on movies become irrelevant as well? Next, Zane claims that Wendigoon follows social media accounts of controversial figures like Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot and killed 2 people during a protest in 2020. He then shows a screenshot of a tweet that Wendigoon supposedly made in support of Rittenhouse. However, he also immediately admits that there is no proof the screenshot is real to begin with.
Although, since I did not take these screenshots, they do have to be taken with a grain of salt.
So, if these screenshots
Then why did you post it, you dumb fuck? Technical retrieval that's friendly with wolves. Yeah. Sounds about right. I mean, I'm pulling out basis on your guys' opinion that Wendigoon is like the golden retriever. Because like I said, I haven't watched any of his stuff. I really don't know about him. I only know about this like third hand basically. So I'm going on your guys's and what else that I've heard about him.
could be fake, why is he using them as supposed proof of Wendigoon's support for Rittenhouse? Well, in his own words, it's because Wendigoon never publicly claimed that these screenshots are fake. So surely there must be some truth to them.
These have been widespread across the internet, and to my knowledge, I can find no examples of him directly saying that these are not real. So he may or may not have actually followed these accounts or supported them.
Even though it's entirely possible that Wendigoon might not have seen these screenshots before, or is choosing to ignore them on purpose to avoid any further drama. It's not difficult to create a fake screenshot, so jumping to conclusions based solely on silence is completely illogical. A comment on Wendigoon's official subreddit also presents this whole argument from a different perspective. You ever heard of hate following a person? That's what's probably doing with those sus accounts. So even if we assume that these screenshots are real, just because Wendigoon follows Rittenhouse doesn't mean he agrees with his political views. The next argument Zane brings up is even more ridiculous, with evidence that can only be described as laughable. According to Zane, Wendigoon is the mastermind behind the Boogaloo Boys extremist group, because the group's name is derived very similar to Wendigoon's old username, Boogaloo Boy. Unfortunately for him, Wendigoon clarified in a Reddit post that he has nothing to do with the group. He explained that he originally used the term Boogaloo based on Che Guevara's code word for revolution, as he's always been a proponent of freedom and liberty. However, as the term became more mainstream, it was hijacked by far-right groups, and its original meaning was distorted into something completely different. Upon realizing its new connotation,
an unfortunate thing these days because so much shit gets hijacked by extremist groups these days. So much is just getting hijacked. So, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, exactly, Bobby. We're seeing like what I've said before. The Black Lives Matter movement got co-opted by bad actors. That's why you don't hear about it anymore, because it got co-opted and run into the ground.
Wendigoon completely distanced himself from it and began posting media analysis videos under his current channel name. Despite this clarification, Zane still insists that Wendigoon has ties to the Boogaloo Boys group because he wears Hawaiian shirts in his videos.
Also,
and point of note, what is this dumb fuck wearing right now? What is he wearing right now while making this video and claiming that Wendigoon is part of this extremist group because he wears a Hawaiian shirt? I don't care if he's trying to be clever and doing this on purpose because he thinks he's clever. This is not the face of someone who's that clever. Like, he is like you said, like you guys said, he's 100% clout chasing this, and it's pathetic. He's desperately trying to. I think he deliberately is trying to stir up controversy to drive people to his channel to see. It's that whole thing of what's he gonna say next.
It should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts, and guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt? despite the fact that he publicly totally does not share in their beliefs, guys.
Does this mean that anyone who wears Hawaiian shirts is connected to this extremist group? Here, Zane also nitpicks on the exact words Wendigoon uses in his Reddit post regarding the Boogaloo Boys.
People who are centrist, or on the left, do not use the phrasing Antifa members. The only people who say that are the ones that see Antifa as some sort of homogenous radical left-wing activist group.
As if saying Antifa members instead of just Antifa somehow proves he holds alt-right beliefs. After these illogical arguments, Zane
this guy
then
got
moves on
dropped
to
on his
attacking
head as a
people
child,
Wendigoon has
didn't he?
interacted with, online or in person, accusing them of being part of the same racist alt-right group as Wendigoon. He starts with Turkey Tom.
Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited.
And why does Zane think Turkey Tom is alt-right? Because of some dumb stuff he said on the internet as a teenager over 6 years ago. Next, Zane targets the internet historian, accusing him of being alt-right because he once jokingly said his birthday was on the 20th of April, which also happens to be Hitler's birthday. He completely ignores that April 20th is also 420,
420,
the funny
Jesus
infamous
Christ.
weed day. He then continues to mention a number of other YouTubers who had some positive interactions.
Yeah, I don't even want to know what this guy's upbringing was, because obviously it sounds a lot like his upbringing was his parents, mommy and daddy gave him everything. They only praised him. They never punished him. He always got a trophy and he always got what he wanted. And if he didn't, and he would throw a shit fit anytime he didn't get something that he wanted. That's what it sounds like this kid's upbringing was.
Interactions with Wendigoon, including Brandon Buckingham, Shoeonhead, Oomberville, and some ordinary gamer, all while making absurd statements about each one of them.
You're gonna go after
For
Muda? Are
instance,
you
this is what he says
fucking
about
stupid?
Brandon Buckingham.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening
Completely ignoring the fact that the grape allegations came from Sneaker of all people and were not backed by any evidence. Similarly, he accused
And what did I say? What did I say about people just throwing shit on the internet saying, well, so-and-so did this, no evidence, and people will just jump on the hype bandwagon and say, yeah, let's cancel him. That's it exactly. Is she wearing a Hawaiian shirt? I mean, I know this is a blouse, but it's a Hawaiian theme day for this video. Oh my god.
accuses Shoeonhead of being a quote conservative masquerading as a leftist because a joke she made on Twitter, taking her words out of context and presenting them as malicious, which is ironic, considering he complained about the same thing happening to him earlier in the video.
Very often it is the case that when conservatives want to criticize me, they will go back to that and use it as a weapon, by twisting my words in very bad faith to make it look like I said something that I obviously did not intend if you had watched the video.
Speaking of irony, near the end of the video, Zane says this about the area Wendigoon grew up in.
It is about as white as you could possibly get. Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist.
Essentially labeling a whole community of people
The irony, I hope, is not lost on anybody here. By collectively labeling a group of white people racist, with no evidence other than saying, oh, the Appalachians are racist, because left and alt-left media have told me so. Oh, the irony. I know it's not Eki, but obviously this guy listens to too much MSNBC, which has told him if you live in the Appalachians, it's kind of like it's a birth requirement for you to be racist. Apparently, I don't fucking know. This guy's a moron.
as racists just because they are white and live in the Appalachian region of the US. Isn't this type of stereotyping based on race racist in and of itself? The same thing Zane has been trying to accuse Wendigoon of being? Finally, Zane ends the video by calling for Wendigoon's cancellation, saying that he should not be allowed in public because of the alleged racism, even though he did not provide a single credible piece of evidence to back his claims.
But the reason that I care is because this does not belong in horror, or anywhere. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has
Ellen calling bullshit. If he cared so deeply about horror, why would he be going on an hour-long rant, or whatever, however long it was, about Wendigoon claiming he's a racist? That's not caring about horror. That's being a pick-me. Did I have? My neighbors are stopping around. Yeah, I'm sure they are, house guest. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, just in public in general.
Even if we ignore the blatant misrepresentation of facts and absurd arguments with no logical backing, the whole video feels off from start to finish. It's like a poor attempt at creating an H-Bomber Guy video, except without everything that makes H-Bomber Guy's content engaging, namely his research, humor, and evidence. But why make such a video in the first place, when there are plenty of horror media franchises?
Yeah, Eki, it's kind of like a lot of, like what you're saying is like a lot of rural communities is they they're decent country folk that will always be willing to help. Yeah. It's I've heard this story many times. Hang on one second. Sorry about that, guys. I thought someone was pounding on my back door for some reason, but it was just the name just like going. Okay, Clockwork. Hope you have a good night too, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Franchises left to analyze? Well, the obvious answer is views. You see, Zane's channel has been in decline since late 2021.
Booga.
Gaining literally 0 new subscribers for several months. It's no secret that making videos about other creators is an effective way to gain views. Just look at the vegan teacher whose entire career is supported by this concept. It's possible that Zane made this video to farm views from the controversy and drama it would generate, but unfortunately for him,
Like, the vegan teacher is the last person that you want to be emulating on YouTube. For the love of God. I mean a whole react video to her insanity, for God's sake.
backfired spectacularly, and the backlash was immediate. Brandon Buckingham led the charge as one of the first YouTubers to respond to Zane's slanderous statements. In a tweet reading, "Hey Prey Shadows, going through every one of Wendigoon's friends and insulting them to try and paint him in a bad light makes you seem like a desperate and pathetic freak." Brandon also sarcastically praises Zane for using a picture of his grandpa after his brain surgery, reading, "Also, using a photo of my grandpa after his brain surgery is super cool of you. You seem like a great guy. I want to shake your hand." In a later tweet, Brandon points out the sheer insanity of 2 of the worst statements Zane made in his video. 1, labeling every white person living in Appalachia as racist, and 2, saying that Wendigoon should not be allowed in public spaces because he's conservative. In a tweet reading, "I forgive you for thoughtlessly defaming me, but claiming all white people in deep Appalachia should be assumed to be racist, and saying Wendigoon should not be allowed in public because of his assumed beliefs really shows how hateful and insane you are." The YouTube community didn't hold back either. They started ripping apart Zane's absurd accusations line.
I mean, he's he's the definition of alt-left. That is what the alt-left thinks. The alt-left thinks that conservatives should be wiped off the map, that they should never be allowed in public, that they should not be allowed to speak, that every single one of them is racist. Unequivocally, they think all conservatives are racist. If you try to tell them otherwise, they're gonna pull some bullshit buzzword false facts out of their ass and say, "Oh no, look at this." It's like, he is the definition of alt-left. Honestly. And yeah, it's I've Snowman, people have mentioned the vegan teacher versus Call Me Chris. But the fact is, I don't want to be given the vegan teacher. I've already dedicated one react to her. I don't want to give her any more oxygen, honestly. The last thing that she talked about in the react that I did, which is on the YouTube channel if you haven't watched it already, After that, I do not want to give the vegan teacher any more oxygen on my channel. None what? None. Not at all. She does not deserve it. She doesn't deserve me even trying to farm her for vegans. Yeah.
By line. For example, in his video, Zane tried to portray the YouTuber donut operator as a bad person by criticizing his
Aldrin,
content.
feel free to
For
watch
example,
it on YouTube,
one of his
but
videos is titled
this
Predator
woman
Takes
is
Shotgun
clearly
to
out
the
of her
Face
fucking
and
mind.
features a picture of him smiling in the corner of the thumbnail next to an image of a terrified man about to be executed by cops, with the text that reads, head removal.
To which someone posted, "Oh no, Wendigoon is friends with a guy who made fun of a PDF file who was rightfully shot. The absurd horror. Maybe we should check your hard drive."
Yeah, and what does Rev always say? Those who condemn the loudest like that usually are the ones that have something to hide. So yeah, maybe we should be checking this guy's hard drive if he's going that hard on it.
Which is a fair point. What's absurd is that the donut operator video Zane mentioned shows a predator getting shot by the police after he pulled a gun and tried to shoot the officers. So mentioning this in the video as something that makes donut operator, and by extension Wendigoon bad people, just makes Zane look like a PDF file defender. And as a reply to
Not just a PDF file defender, a PDF file deflector. Like he's trying to deflect away from him.
this tweet states, "What's up with leftists getting very defensive in behalf of PDF files?" As if the backlash on Twitter wasn't enough, the creator Zane slandered like
not
some
so much,
ordinary
Snowman.
gamer, Brandon Buckingham,
That's not-
and Shoeonhead
please body
also
cam footage
published
isn't
full
really my
videos
thing.
debunking his accusations and pointing massive holes in his arguments. Brandon also reached out to Wendigoon and asked for his response on this whole situation. And while everyone else was making fun of Zane for his terrible takes, Wendigoon's response was quite sane and mature, despite all the outlandish claims Zane made against him.
He seems to hate me a lot, which is fine. Not everyone has to like me. Have I ever said anything to this guy? Have I ever been rude to him, said anything about him? And I don't think I have. I've been a person that's had trouble forgiving other people, or like I've just harbored, hate towards other people in my life, and it's not fun to keep kind of this anger locked up. And it sounds like there's a lot of spitefulness. I'm not sure what I've done. The points he espoused in the video is that, it's because I followed him, because I liked his video. He took us something else. Maybe that's all. Maybe there's more. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm sorry if I've attributed to that in any way. And regardless, I'm sorry he feels that way.
He even went as far to apologize to Zane just in case he ever did anything to hurt his feelings.
To him directly, I'm sorry, for this perception of anything I've given you. I'm sorry if I've...
That he hurt his feelings. That's the crux of it. His feelings got hurt. In Defense of Shadows, there's an expression that I heard a couple years back that I still think works really well. And this is not an expression that I will attribute to either side of the coin on this one. But I think it works so fucking well. Which is, careful there, Snowflake. I drink coffee stronger than your feelings. It's such a fitting expression. I need to get it printed on a t-shirt or an actual coffee mug. Yeah. I wish I'd come up with it. I'm not claiming I came up with that. But I think that is the perfect expression these days for people like in Defense of Shadows. Maybe someday, Lurker. Maybe someday. We'll see how this Twitch thing pans out.
I've ever devalued from you or your channel, I apologize. And I sincerely mean it. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. I want everyone, regardless if they like me or not, to do well.
Yeah, maybe.
Christ didn't say love people who are nice to you. He just said love people. If you say stuff online...
House guest, I've got to make enough money that I can actually get my own unique model first instead of using a free one before I even think about start getting a plushie. What? Let's see.
You're going to get pushback for it if it's, any kind of controversial, but I hope you don't let that deter you in the long run. I hope you can continue to pursue your dreams. I promise I will not try to stand in the way of that, and I hope none of my followers do.
This calm and collected response further reinforced the faith Wendigoon's fans had in him. It also served as direct evidence against everything Zane tried to convey in his video. Like this comment on YouTube mentions, ironically, In Praise of Shadow's video on him only really succeeded in giving Wendigoon positive clout, indirectly helping him. Of course, not every YouTuber Zane mentioned in the video responded with such kindness. Oompaville, for example, decided to go on the offensive a bit.
All I can say, like, every time I see something like this, I think of that fucking scene from Billy Madison at the end.
Cheeseburger? Head King? Wants cheeseburger? Can I has cheeseburger, please? Please? I wants cheeseburger. Cheeseburger.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Zane, on the other hand, was also feeling the pressure from this immense backlash, leading to a lackluster response that did little to restore his online reputation. His video got ratioed to oblivion as soon as it went live, with over 27,000 dislikes in total. In response, Zane first deleted the entire 30-minute segment about Wendigoon, and then removed the video from his channel altogether, likely to dodge any more backlash. However, he made the situation worse for himself by trying to argue his way out of the controversy on Twitter. You see, in one of his response tweets, Brandon said that Zane was moody because he looked like he had low testosterone and that he should exercise more, to which Zane responded by saying, "You using homophobic language to me, though in calling me a low testosterone freak, does not change my opinions about you. My base thoughts remain the same, even though I should have said them differently and not let that cloud my writing." In other words, Zane still stood by everything he said about Brandon and probably others. He just realized he needed to phrase it better. Brandon immediately shot back and called out Zane for continuing to slander him and making him seem like a villain by twisting his words. After spreading false accusations that I threatened to grape someone, this guy is now claiming I am homophobic because I said he seems like he has low testosterone. You are such a victim. Brandon further clarified, "I had no idea you were homosexual. I was calling you a low testosterone."
Wait, is In Defense of Shadows or In Praise of Shadows, is he homosexual? Like, I have no idea. I don't know who the fuck the guy is. Is he actually gay? Me neither. I have no clue. Yeah, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Freak for being such a miserable, moody asshole who baselessly slandered me in an attempt to demonize a close friend of mine. This humiliation, combined with the backlash of hundreds of other Twitter users, forced Zane to private his Twitter account. Unfortunately for Zane, the trouble was far from over. Someone had leaked the post he made
like
for
that
his
love to
Patreon
use their victimhood
supporters.
as a shield.
Now, to be fair, there are
And
some
they'll
parts of
use
this post
anything
that are
to
pretty logical
facilitate it.
considering what went down, like Zane apologizing for engaging himself in the wrong way and promising to avoid similar projects in the future. However, immediately after this, he goes back to saying that whatever he said in the video was right, reading, "I thought that I was doing good here, and I think to an extent I did do some good, but I could have gone about it differently." He also made a community post on his YouTube channel with similarly mixed statements.
How does he think at going after one person, calling him every bad name in the book? How does that translate into, I think I was doing good, but I went about doing it in the wrong way? How is there a right way to do that? Yeah, Tessa, his brain don't work good. Oh my god.
statements, apologizing while also trying to play the victim card. With a tweet from Chris the Narc reading, he put out a community post saying he's received harassment. I do not condone it, but you kind of invoke karma when you straight misreport or lie about people. And just when you think you
I
could
wish I could give you a cheeseburger, but I don't feel like breaking any laws to get it there.
Well, Eki, I appreciate the thought. Thank you. I appreciate the thought.
dig himself a deeper hole, someone leaks his posts from his Discord server, and he's still in complete denial and believes he's 100% in the right, with a message reading, "Oh yeah, nobody in the video has actually refuted any of what I said lol, they only point out small individual things that are wrong, but don't actually go as far to say that what I said wasn't right." At this point, it's clear that no counter-argument will make Zane fully admit that what he said about Wendigoon and other YouTubers was baseless and lacked any real evidence. If it's not clear by now, in Zane's mind, the only correct opinion is his own, and everyone else is just a misinformed bully who's harassing him online for stating the truth. Unfortunately, it looks like there's nothing the rest of us can do to make him see the light and
Should probably go grab a cheeseburger after stream.
Tysel, thank you for the biddies. And unfortunately, it's too late for me to go grab a cheeseburger. Because after I finish the stream, I'll probably end up going to bed.
find the error in his thinking. As for his career on YouTube, the future of his channel is in his own hands. Most people will move on to the next big controversy within a few weeks and forget all about Zane's 3.5 hours of ramblings. And while a handful of people would keep reminding him of his mistakes, their feedback doesn't really matter in the long run. The thing is, Zane did find some success from this whole debacle. Since posting the controversial video, his Patreon supporters have increased by over 45%. This gives him the chance to get back on his feet. All he has to do is stay away from future controversy and make high-quality videos on the topics which made him popular in the first place. Horror movie analysis. He still has over 390,000 subscribers, many of whom don't really care about his controversial political views and are just waiting for his next video. This is in stark contrast to Illuminati, whose situation still continues to get worse, with almost the entirety of her audience turning against her. Click the video on screen to find out more.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched the Internet Anarchist because that told me more than what Shoe on Head's video told me when I watched hers. It was a different take on it. I got a different take on it, which is nice.